And my friends, this evening I'm going to share with you how to get ahead of everybody else in your 20s. So the first thing to understand is that we must ignore everybody. We must discriminate very heavily against the masses. A surefire way to make sure that you don't actualize your dreams and desires is to continue to practice what everybody else is practicing. And a clear way to be conscious of what everybody else is doing is to have an awareness of the linear progression the system, I hate the phrase, the system, is describing to you, is presenting to you. So we must begin with primary school and that continuation into secondary school, perhaps college, university, and then you come to a place where you are working for company. Now, this is the typical route an individual will take in their average and daily lifetimes. We must discriminate heavily against this typical progression because we must come to an understanding that school is a part of a system. It's the school system. I don't like using that word, but for our sakes it will do. Because it is a school system, you must realize that it will try and fill positions within that particular system. In this way, schools are built to churn out consumers and employees because they fall right back into that system. They do not, however, emphasize on the creative aspect. They do not promote creativity or plan to churn out creators. It's just it's an assembly line, and what it is, and they're just trying to get people to fill a particular role within society, be a policeman, accountant, fireman, whatever the case may be, XYZ. So that's the first step. Ignore the masses. Step number 2, we must come to the realization that we are an asset. Okay, what is an asset? Well, an asset is something that accumulates wealth over time. Okay, and that is your mind and your body, which kind of poetically brings me on to step 3, which is investing in those assets. We must treat your mind and your body like something that is going to, again, accumulate you wealth over a long period of time, but only if we invest in it. If we can think of our mind as a piece of property, for example, and we spend some money on making sure that the wiring is correct and we have substantial materials in order to keep the quality up, then that is going to generate you wealth over time. Okay? And the body, similarly, could be a important stock portfolio. And if you continue to invest time, money, and energy into that stock, then it's going to be fruitful for you in the long run. Now, instead of using pretty pointless analogies here, let's think about this something practical, okay? There is an intrinsic relationship between your ability to earn money and your cognitive skills. How do you invest in your cognitive skills? Well, a very simple way to start investing and capitalizing on your cognitive ability is reading. It is alarming for me as a 25-year-old man to look around me at my particular age range and younger and see the lack of reading practice. It's like it's now seen as an ancient historical practice that has been lost to the times, and it's been replaced by, again, consumerism. You start to see the links. Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, Disney, superhero movies, TV, sports, all this shit is occupying a time for investment, okay? You're not going to increase your ROI, your return on investment, if you're continuously giving energy away to stuff that is draining you, okay? Reading, meditation, actively learning is investing, is nourishing you. So we must read. Conversely, for the body, we must invest in the, what would you call it? The potential of the body through physical activity, through exercise, through weightlifting. A very important thing to remember is if you are moving in the direction of personal development is the mind and the body have an intrinsic relationship. There is a very interesting text called the Kybalion, which is a Hermetic philosophy. And one of my favorite phrases from that particular source is, as above, so below. You cannot hope to have a quality in terms of your cognitive ability if your physical health is also suffering. They're intrinsically related, so we must take care of the body, we must take care of the mind. So let's just have a little recap on the steps so far. So ignore the masses, realize that you're an asset, invest in the assets, invest in the mind, invest in the body through reading, through lifting weights. And what is the final step? Well, the final step is to realize that all you really need to do is solve a problem. Okay, you know, businesses and marketing and, you know, SEO and all this surface level bullshit really gets away from the premise, which is all businesses. And I feel like that kind of scares people into not going down that vein to be self-sufficient. All businesses is the practice of solving a problem and selling a solution to that problem. That is business 101. If you are not a good problem solver, then you don't have a business. In this way, once you have invested in your tools, in your faculties, in your mind and in your body, you can realize that you are in a place whereby you have quality tools, mind and body, and you can solve someone's problem to a high value, to a high standard. And people will pay you for that. Funnily enough, can you believe that? People want an answer, they want a solution to their problem, and if you have quality tools, if you are both sharp in mind and body, why would not someone want to invest in you and give you what you seek? You see, I'm really trying to give you a very systematic, practical way in which you can start to begin to give value to the world. That's what it's all about. Are you giving value? Are you solving a problem? Are you giving a solution? Look around you. What problems do you see in the world? I know you're opinionated enough to realize that, hey, you know, perhaps the agenda of some of this leftist tyrannical feminism is incurring a problem on the suicidal prevalence in young men. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a problem I want to solve. And then you start developing your faculties. Sharpness in mind, sharpness in body. Start developing an educational program. I'm going to solve the problem of tyrannical feminism. You start to see how you can begin to get the bones of your business and get ahead of everybody else by understanding that fundamentally, my friends, you need to be a problem solver. Okay? And if business isn't your forte, you can easily take these kind of values and apply them to your work. If you're someone who's very happy in the ethos of your business, for example, reading, and I'm going to break this down so how you can understand why this is going to be beneficial for you. So we talked about reading for the mind, increasing the value of your mind, investing in your assets. If you read more, you have a higher vocabulary. What does it mean if you have a higher vocabulary? Well, it means you can use a larger amount of words which point to a more vivid description of ideas. If you are able to present your ideas with more clarity, you are able to come up with different solutions to a problem. And if your employer sees that you are able to articulate clear solutions to difficult problems, that means that you are high value. What does it mean if you are high value? Well, it is mean that you are literally in congruency, in alignment with money. We all like money, don't we? So I'm going to leave that video on that bombshell, my friends, because I believe that it will get away from the point if I dilute this down. So solve a problem, and that is going to be the way you get ahead in your 20s. And if you found any value in this video, my friends, I would have you subscribe to me, because you are in good company here. And I will see you again on another video, bringing you that value, solving that problem.